A continuing debate, of course, but you can't match this atmosphere, I would say. Here's Mike Goodall again, our MC.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Marquis of Queensberry rules brought boxing into modern times exactly 101 years ago in 1892. Tonight, history is to be made, because for the first time ever, two British boxers will contest a World Heavyweight Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenger for the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world, Bruno!
Chance to fulfill his mission of becoming heavyweight champion of the world. He says, when I get in this ring, I'm going to explode like a time bomb. And Mickey Duff, his promoter, says, you're going to see a different Frank Bruno tonight. Well, is that all hype, or will it really happen? He's 2 months away from his 32nd birthday. Frank Bruno has had his critics, but you have to admire what he's achieved in his life. He says he could have ended up as a black Ronnie Biggs. Instead, this Essex man has become Britain's most popular fighter since Henry Cooper. And there's one crucial difference about this man and the early Bruno. He's battle-hardened now. He's been there before. He knows what it's about. Can he do it, Glenn McCrory?
Well, I think he has an excellent chance, a very, very good chance. He's up for this fight. He doesn't have anything to lose this time. I think the country expected him. He's been guided, and they expected that he'd win the world title last time. And I think this time there's no pressure on him. He's out there. He's in great frame of mind. And I think he has an excellent chance of doing it.
There's been a swagger about Bruno this week. He arrived at this arena tonight chewing gum and looking extremely jaunty. This was not a man who was frozen with fear at the prospect of getting in with Lennox Lewis. And I think he wants this. I've known him a long time. I think he wants this so much that it almost hurts. And in the later stages, if it becomes a tough, long fight, desire to win is a big, big factor. This is the challenger, Frank Bruno. Bruno entering the ring amid fantastic theatre and fireworks at Cardiff Arms Park. Has to be said, in 2 previous attempts at this level, he's been found wanting against Tim Witherspoon and against Mike Tyson. Stamina has proved a problem in the past, but he's more relaxed now and more mature. And remember, he went 10 rounds last time with Carl the Truth Williams. And there's something of the showbiz star in Bruno now. He milks the moment. How does he look to you, Glenn?
He looks very well. He looks very focused, very calm, relaxed. I think he enjoyed it. He got a great reception when he came on. I think he really enjoyed it.
That's interesting. They've got those plastic bags around his feet to stop, I think, the boot soles getting wet.
That's right, on the way, and they won't want his feet to get wet, you know, so he brings any water into the ring, which could make him slip very early on.
Well, Frank Bruno won't to be kept waiting too long in the temperatures here, which are dropping almost by the minute as we close in on 1 a.m. But nothing, I think, is going to deflect Bruno's mind now after the weeks and weeks of work in that tent in the school where his little girls are taught. We await the entry of the champion, Lennox Lewis.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the WBC Heavyweight Champion of the world, Lennox Lewis!
That's Ollie Dunlap leading Lewis out, the camp coordinator. And there's the champion. His brother Dennis. And that's what it's all about tonight. The WBC's belt, once thrown in the dustbin by Riddick Bowe. But don't forget, the reason he threw it in the dustbin is because he didn't fancy the idea very much of meeting Lennox Lewis at that time. There's Eugene Maloney, brother of Frank, there with the short cropped hair, real character in the camp, security man, and Lewis, as always, looking so cool. Age 28, 3 3/4 years younger than Bruno, 9 pounds lighter at 16 stone 5, and maybe the fastest and most athletic heavyweight since the incomparable Muhammad Ali. Cool, classy, and on form. Rightfully, he starts the favourite tonight. Bruno waits for him. Don't let the amiable, softly spoken manner fool you. Lewis, like most fighters at this level, would probably mug his own grandmother once he climbed through the ropes. It takes that kind of meanness to succeed at this giddy level of world boxing. But there are questions. We've yet to see him in a life and death struggle under intense pressure. We've yet to see how his chin reacts under a real power punch, and Bruno could be the one to deliver such a power punch, Glenn.
Certainly, he certainly has the physical strength to pull Lennox Lewis around. He certainly has the punching power to hurt any heavyweight in the world.
Big Frank, seems a long time ago he made his debut against that Mexican Lupe Guerra in 1982. It's his 5th comeback fight. Just look at Frank. It's a long, long way out there, and it's taking a long time for Lennox Lewis. He's got some fans there, and it'll be interesting to see the cheers when the two fighters are actually announced in the ring. We might get an idea of what percentage are pro-Bruno and what percentage pro-Lewis. The expectation is, with the cult figure kind of following that Bruno has, particularly among people who don't normally take too much interest in boxing, that maybe they'll be pro-Bruno, but we'll see. Lewis, his popularity is growing. The Battle of Britain, history in the making. Call it what you like, but it's tense and it's important, and this is big-time sport. What does he look like to you now, Glenn?
He looks very good. He looked very good when he was coming out. Very relaxed, very focused, as he always does. It was noticeable. He's glistening, so it looks like he's done a good warm-up. He'll have the Vaseline on already, which will make him, which will keep him warm. But I think he'll have done a very good warm-up one to keep him nice and warm, ready for a fast start.
Against Tony Tucker last time, I thought Lewis looked so relaxed. I thought he was going to go to sleep in the corner before the fight, but he looks a bit more up, doesn't he, this time?
I think he's going to have to be. I think obviously this is a more nervous experience for him. It's a big British fight. He's got a lot to prove tonight. So I think mentally he will be very, very up.
Chance of Bruno. There's the tail of the tape. Bruno, the older man by nearly 4 years, 3 3/4 years, 31 to 28. The taller man is Lewis, but the reach advantage by an inch is for Frank Bruno. The weight, interesting. Bruno, the second heaviest ever at 17 stone. He was heavier against Kurtzer, and Lennox Lewis, 16 stone 5. That's 6 pounds lighter than for Tony Tucker. He's probably trained for speed and mobility. Big plus points always for him. What about the rules for the fight? No standing 8 count. The 3 knockdown rule is not in operation. That is, if there are 3 knockdowns in a round, it doesn't constitute an automatic stoppage, as in some other rules. The bell can only save a fighter in the last round, and only the referee, that's Mickey Van, can stop the fight. Now, in the event of an interruption from the weather, and we have to consider this open air and with rain about, if it interferes in under 3 rounds, it will be a no decision, in which case Lewis would carry on being champion. After that, say it was stopped in the 4th round because the conditions were wrong, they would go to the scorecards, and whoever was winning would be declared the winner. Now that really would be very, very contentious indeed. We hope and pray that it does not happen here. If it goes the full 12 rounds, these are the men who will score the fight. Jerry Roth from the United States, Adrian Morgan from Pontypridd, he's 65, he's about to retire as a British referee, and Tony Castellano, another experienced American official.
The officials appointed for this contest by the World Boxing Council are the supervisor in charge, Sir David Hopkin, the British Boxing Board of Control supervisor, Mr. John Morris, the timekeeper this evening, Mr. Ivor Campbell. The judges at ringside are Mr. Tony Castellano of Las Vegas, USA, and Mr. Jerry Roth of Las Vegas, USA, and Mr. Adrian Morgan of Caerleon in Wales. The man in charge of the action tonight, officiating in his 23rd World Championship, Mr. Mickey Van of Leeds, England. My lords, ladies and gentlemen, this contest is promoted by Frank Maloney for Panics Promotions and Main Events in association with National Promotions, who proudly present History in the Making, and is sponsored by Cardiff Bay Developments. This is a contest of 12 3-minute rounds of boxing to decide the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world. In the blue corner, wearing white shorts with the red trim from Essex, England, the challenger, ranked undisputedly number 5 by all world bodies, a former ABA heavyweight champion whose professional record from 39 fights reads 36 wins, 3 losses, 35 wins coming by way of KO, the former undefeated European heavyweight champion, Frank Bruno.
Is this the night that the dream is realized for him?
In the red corner, wearing red shorts with white trim, from East London, the former amateur world junior super heavyweight champion, Commonwealth Games gold medalist and Olympic Games gold medalist. His professional record, he is undefeated in 23 contests, 19 by way of KO. the former undefeated British, Commonwealth and European heavyweight champion. He comes to the ring tonight as the undisputed WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis.
Well, a pretty good hand for Lennox Lewis as well. Not as big, I think, as the one for Bruno, but he's got lots of fans.
Scaled 17 stone exactly, 238 pounds.
That's Lewis's mum, Violet, you saw at
16 stone,
ringside.
5 pounds, 229 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world.
Lennox Lewis, 16 stone 5. Frank Bruno, 17 stone. The referee, Mickey Van, age 49, who runs his own skip hire business in Leeds. The 4th time he's refereed a world title fight. This is the biggest night of his refereeing career by far. Mickey Duff, the promoter of Bruno, objected to Van after the controversy he was in America in the Chavez-Whitaker fight recently. That made the big headlines over there.
Conduct yourself in the manner of champion, right? I don't take no shit off either of you. Shake hands, back your corners, shake hands when you go. And shake hands, right?
Well, they shake hands reluctantly.
Hey, listen, just a minute, all right? Don't give me no shit, right?
Oh, Mickey Van recoursing to the industrial language and just reading the riot act of Pepe Carrera a moment. Well, there was a bit of ill feeling there right from the word go. There's been quite a lot of hype. It's been a bit of a grudge match in the build-up, and we're all set to go. Lennox Lewis makes his 2nd defense of the WBC heavyweight title. Frank Bruno, at 31, attempts to win it for the 3rd time. Due to go 12 rounds, but will it?
Over there, over there, over there.
And away they go. Bruno, you don't really need the identification in the white shorts. Oh, big sharp jab from Lennox Lewis early on, thrown with great hand speed. Lewis, on paper, the better mover of the two, and the jab was a good one. He's landed it 3 times already, Glenn.
He's landed it, snapping out very well. He's moving around as well. He's using that little bit of movement, and he's tried that big right hand twice.
Remember how Lennox Lewis overwhelmed Razor Ruddock in a couple of rounds. He's looked a bit of a puncher in his last 2 fights. Bruno, for the moment, just biding his time. It's a big moment in this fight when Bruno lands with one of his big bombs for the first time. Because Lewis's chin is largely untested.
Already Bruno's gone for a couple of jabs to the body. That's a dangerous move, because that's what cost Ruddock the loss in that fight. Nice stiff jab from Frank.
The faster start, and there Lewis just slipping and losing his footing a moment in that corner. Lewis has made the more confident start, but he's got this way of holding his gloves pretty low by his side. The head is open if you can time the punch and find the chin, but the reflexes are good too.
Frank's good. He's took the center of the ring. He looks very strong, and he's using that jab well. Lennox is moving around, just trying to get Frank off balance a little bit.
Decent little right uppercut inside from Bruno there. There's no doubt about it, Bruno is trying to slow Lewis down. That seems to be a ploy by going for body shots.
I think we've just seen Bruno with 2 good jabs, and that's a key weapon for Frank. He's got to have a good stiff jab.
He's landed 3 times in succession with the jab, Bruno. He's starting to have some success. They're both good jabbers, and it might be a key point in this fight. Which of them is the more effective with it? There was some talk pre-fight that Bruno might be so fired up that he would come out very fast and maybe a little carelessly, but he always said that he'd take it coolly, and he did in that opening round. How did you score that one? Kept warm between the rounds with a big blanket. Second round for the WBC Heavyweight Championship.
Frank's keeping his own left hand pretty high after that jab. He obviously sees that big right hand from Lennox as a danger.
Bruno, a mellower, more mature model these days. A man whose career has twice been threatened by eye injury. Bruno looks very confident in these early stages, occupying centre ring and boxing to an obviously pre-orchestrated game plan, pumping out his jab, and it's not been a bad start this for Bruno.
It's a very good start. He is very, very up for this. He looks as if he's very focused, and he's taking the fight to Lennox right from the beginning, but he's doing it sensibly behind a good jab.
Only the 24th fight of Lennox Lewis's career compared to the 40th of Bruno's. Bruno does have experience on his side. Lewis does have these periods in fights where he just seems to switch off and not do a lot, and that seems to be the case in this second round so far. Bruno's making the running.
He is, but I think Lennox is catching the shots well. Bruno sticking that jab over Lennox is just parrying it nice with his own right hand. So he's using a good defense and keeping pretty elusive. Good shots from Bruno.
Look to let that big right hand go there, Bruno. It didn't land cleanly. And the left hook from Bruno with good hand speed.
That's a good point. Frank is looking very fast in this fight. He started very good very early, and he looks very sharp.
Well, he's certainly trained, I know, for extra mobility and flexibility. Two more jabs. Chance of Bruno. Ring around Cardiff Arms Park. He catches Lewis again. Optimistic signs for Bruno. And the two of them there clubbing away, and Mickey Van trying to get in between those two big men. 34-stoner heavyweight in there. And now Mickey Van wants to have a chat with them.
Hello, over there. All right. Just fucking this place. Don't give me no shit, either of you. All right? Because I don't mind taking points off any of you. All right?
Mickey Van looking to impose his control on the two of them.
He's got to do that. These are two very big guys, and if it starts to get a little bit naughty, if they start to foul each other, it's going to become a mess.
That was Bruno. Lewis in the red shorts. For those of you who need identification, I can't imagine there are too many. Lewis needing to just maybe reimpose himself in this round and starting fast.
Yes, I think he's been told down the corner. He's been told he's got to take the fight to Bruno, and he's done that. A good double jab and right hand.
There are the scoring punches so far in the first couple of rounds. 23 each. It's close. A good overhand right from Bruno. Did Lewis take that? He looks in a spot of bother. And Bruno looks to follow up. Remember how he had Mike Tyson going in the first round in his last attempt to win a world title. That shook Lewis up a little bit, but he's still there. Key moment in the fight, that, Glenn.
A very good moment. Good shots from Bruno. He's very sharp, he's very fast, and that took Lewis by surprise, and I'm sure that did hurt him. Lewis has got to fight back strong from this. He's got to stamp his authority on this fight.
This is an excellent performance so far from Bruno. Can he keep this up? Lewis starting the round very fast, looking to impose himself. Bruno coming in with that crashing punch, and Lewis looked bothered by it, but he didn't go down, and he's still there.
I think Bruno's getting the success because he's using his strength, he's forcing the fight, and he's using a very good jab. Good moments for Frank.
There's a slightly worried look on Lewis's face at the moment. And Bruno, there's no doubt about it, is giving him a hard time. This is not the fight a lot of people expected to watch.
Lewis is neglecting that jab a little bit. He's looking, I think he's a little bit perplexed by Frank's success, and he's trying for that big overhand right rather than trying to keep up with his jab. Lewis has got to get his own jab working.
He's got his gloves down very low as well, Lewis, and he was caught by that right hand of Bruno's. He may be dicing with danger a little bit with the guard that low, but a bit of showboating from Lewis there, just to show Bruno maybe that his confidence is still there. Gone, and Bruno, no doubt about it, landed the biggest punch of the night so far in that one.
Definitely a very good round for Frank. He caught Lewis with some good shots, a good double jab and a right hand, which gave him the best success of the fight so far. And the corn must be very pleased with Frank.
Now let's see if we can see this punch again, this key moment.
Well, he's using his authority here. He's very strong. He's taking it forward. There's the double jab in the right hand. And Lewis did shake a little bit. He just seemed to get on the tail end of it. But then we see Frank's strength. And this is what we were looking for. Frank to pull him around, use that strength.
Now that was always going to be a crucial moment. How Lewis reacted when Bruno landed with one of his big shots. And he was shaken, but you might say not stirred.
I think that's a good description. He came back from a well.
Fourth round.
Right, box on.
A confident start from Frank Bruno. But you feel that there may be one or two more twists and turns ahead of us. Fascinating stuff. After the midnight hour in Cardiff. Now Lewis has been told by the corner, it's quite clear, to get working behind his jab more.
Well, that was a key thing that he had to do, and he was neglecting to do that in the early rounds. He was not using that jab, and he was getting caught. Now he's started to use it, and he's getting a bit more success. So the corner must have told him, and he's got to keep using it. It's a key weapon in this fight.
And Bruno comes back once again and has success with his really good stiff ramrod jab. That's always been one of the big plus points in his weaponry. It's a battle of the jabs in many ways. The two of them looking to work other openings off the jabs.
The jab is always a key punch, and especially with these two fighters who depend on their jab. They've both got very good shots after the jab, but you've got to get your jab working and landing before you can land them big bombs.
Neither fighter really is slipping too many of those jabs either. They're both landing with a lot of regularity. Lewis is starting each round fast, but then rather switching off in the middle phases of the round. he's been called programmed, stiff, robot-like in the past. But I don't know, for me in his comeback, he's looked looser and better than the original model. And this is a good performance from him so far.
So far, very good performance. But the big bombs are coming in from both men now.
Lewis looking to get through with that right, but Bruno was wise to it, got his glove up well.
I think there's a little bit of a mouse developing on Frank's side. It seems to be swelling up a bit, so obviously Lewis's jab, that very fast jab, is getting through.
Lewis is a bit more mobile in this round. He's skipping backwards and sometimes out of range of the jab. In the last 30 seconds, a bit more.
Well, he's getting his own jab going, and he's starting to double it up.
Fascinating battle here. And 4 rounds gone. Harold the Shadow Knight whips off the blanket in the corner of Lennox Lewis. Mickey Van, the referee, very anxious to let everybody know that he is in charge. Here's a punch profile so far quickly for you. Lewis 49, Bruno 52, and Lewis complaining that he was punched round the back of the head by Bruno. Lewis, who in the build-up accused Bruno of being a dirty fighter. But when people start complaining to the referee, it's sometimes a sign that they're not entirely comfortable with things.
I think one thing I've never seen with Frank, I've never seen him this determined. He's very, very determined. Anything that Lennox does, he's coming back with something.
The word the Americans like to use is focused, isn't it? And it, I think,
well,
sums
he's
up
very
Bruno.
focused.
Oh, that's good from Lewis. 2 jabs and then a fast right hand, and Bruno ate all of those up. That really was a classy burst from the champion, but he needs more of that. And every time he does land, Bruno takes the shots and comes back. Again, Lewis is complaining about being held and pulled on the punches from round behind his neck. This is a tough and close fight.
It is very tough and very close. Both men giving it everything. But Lewis is having some tough moments. Frank is keeping control. He's still trying to force this fight behind that good jab.
Well, so far, Frank Bruno is making a few people eat their words here. His jab is working very well for him indeed, but Lewis is having a fair amount of success with his too. Stamina and desire to win could become big factors, you feel, later on in this. This shows every signs of developing into the toughest fight of Lennox Lewis's life.
That's right. We're going to have to see if this goes later into the fight, how the stamina of both men is, because this has been fought at a terrific pace. Good shots from Lewis. Beautiful jab.
Lewis just upping the pace a bit. He's done that twice in this round. Double jab, then overhand right hand. Bruno is keeping up a very, very high work rate, though. This is a good fight for the heavyweight title. It's beginning to swell around the eyelid. It will be a danger for him if it started to close up because of that. 6th round, live from Cardiff National Stadium, and there's too much grease around Lewis's face. And Pepe Correa is being told by Mickey Van, the referee, to wipe some of that off. There's still an awful lot on there. 6th round, moving towards the halfway point here. And Lewis, his left eye is just beginning to swell up a bit as well. They've both taken an awful lot of jabs. Lewis, you get the impression, is looking to up the pace a little bit.
A furious start of this round. And Lewis is really letting the big shots go. Big right hand to the body he threw.
Has Lewis got another gear, you wonder, that he's preparing to use? Bruno will certainly want to have got rid of the stamina problems he had early in his career in this one.
Well, it's going to be a very interesting test because the fight's been fought at a terrific pace, and it's bound to take it out of both men at the end of this fight. They're both going to be tired as the rounds go on. And then it's when the defenses get slack and the big shots can come in from either man because they've both got terrific power.
There's a little bit of blood around Lewis's face, and I think it might be just seeping from a cut somewhere near his eye. We'll try to get a closer look at that. Nothing serious at the moment, but they're beginning to develop damage. He was cut against Mike Weaver, Lennox Lewis, and needed 8 stitches. There's been a relentlessness about Frank Bruno in this fight, though.
It is. He's been non-stop. He's been walking forward behind that jab all the time. And I think that by pushing Lennox Lewis back, it's kept him off balance. But he's having a good point here.
Lewis looks more confident in this round, though, to me. He's just got that old arrogance back about him.
That's right. Well, he's starting to get that bounce in his step, and he's started to come forward and push Bruno back. And I think that's very good for Lewis. That's what he's got to try and do.
Lewis, the younger, fresher man. There was a low blow in there from Lewis, a right. Mickey Van steps in to separate them again. It's been a hard night for him. Bruno is so hungry for this, and he's making Lewis work so very, very hard. And again, Bruno there gets a little caution. There's no point deducted for punching behind the head of Lewis.
I think there was no point deducted because Lewis tipped his head down.
Is Glenn McCrory. This is the 7th round. They both have a little bit of facial damage. So far, we've got Lewis landing 84 punches and Bruno 83. We have an expert counting the punches as they're landed.
But one thing's for sure, this certainly is a great heavyweight title fight.
Look at Bruno here, coming on top of their left hook, catches him, and Bruno was hurt by that. And now Lewis is looking to close in to finish this, and Bruno is in trouble. Bruno is in big trouble. And Lewis carries on a relentless assault here, pouring on the punishment. These are bad moments for Frank Bruno. Right uppercut, and I think Mickey Van's going to stop it. Or is he? He's called off the assault. Well, that was a contentious incident in the fight. I thought for a moment there he was stopping that right uppercut. Lewis here, and Bruno is on the verge of going. He won't take a lot more, and this time it is stopped, and Lennox Lewis is still the WBC Heavyweight Champion of the world. But Frank Bruno put up such a brave, courageous performance. He was right in the fight until that moment when Lewis turned on the class and finished the job in clinical fashion. That really was very, very impressive. He's a great finisher, Lennox Lewis, and once he had Bruno going, he was never going to let him off the hook. Lewis is still champion. The Battle of Britain has been won by Lennox Lewis. Mum Violet can celebrate, but they'll have known some anxious moments in that before Lewis concluded the job.
A brilliant finish from Lewis. Frank was just getting through with some good shots of his own, and Lennox showed real heart, real courage. He come out with a brilliant left hook and poured it all on. Some fantastic work there. And I'm just glad the referee stopped it when he did, because Frank was taking some bad shots.
The left hook took everything away, didn't it?
It was a fantastic, he let everything go with that one. Frank just stood, just caught it, bang on, a beautiful shot, and it was all over from that moment.
Well, he's a strange performer, Lennox Lewis. Sometimes you feel he doesn't look that impressive at all, but when he moves into that higher gear, when he catches his man, his ability to get the job finished is quite extraordinary.
Well, that left hook was the one that did the job, because that knocked Frank right, you know, it shuttered him right to his shoes.
Now here we are, let's have a look at it. Bruno.
Frank's got the success, and there it is, right on the chin.
That was the one. Look at his legs doing a silly dance as it landed, Bruno.
Oh, he never recovered from them shots. And Lennox, a beautiful finisher who puts it all on. He's got the job done. I thought the referee had stopped it the first time. I'm not sure why he didn't wave it over there and what Lewis had done wrong.
I think really why he caught him off is because Lewis was pushing his left glove into Bruno's face, and that's why he made him abandon the assault, but it didn't actually matter in the end.
I'll tell you when.
Lewis here, look, he's just picking the punch. Oh, that right uppercut. That really was the telling final blow. The right uppercut rolled his head back like a rag doll, Bruno, and there was no way back from there. No way at all. You may be watching the last moments in the career of one of Britain's most popular fighters.
But you've got to give all respect to him. He put up a marvellous performance. He was so focused, he really went for it. And if this is his swan song, then he did a great job, and it's a great fight to go out on. He showed nothing but courage. But Lennox Lewis, in the end of the day, a fabulous performance.
The way he finished the job was quite brilliant, Lewis. But take your hat off too to Frank Bruno, because every time he has challenged for the world title, he has put up such a brave, courageous effort against Witherspoon and against Tyson. But you have to say, in the end, Lewis's extra, well, maybe it was punch power, told. That's the third time in a row he's landed with a big punch and finished off his opponents. Remember, against Tucker, he had him down twice. Vital moments in the fight. Mayhem in the ring, as always. Lewis has got dark glasses on. Bruno's got his wife, Laura, in the ring with him at this moment. And I'm glad to say that Frank is okay. That is good to see. George Francis with him. $3.5 million or pounds, we reckon, for Lewis here. About 1.25 for Bruno. Rough figures, you never hear the exact ones. But Lewis is still the champion. That's the bottom line in Cardiff. In the Battle of Britain, Lewis in the end was the one flying the Spitfires. Somewhere in there is Mike Goodall, and he'll give us the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 1 minute 10 seconds of the 7th round, the referee has stopped the contest. The undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis! And ladies and gentlemen, as he leaves the ring, your appreciation for a very, very
well, a lot of people thought, or some experts anyway, that Lewis might just blast Bruno away. But Bruno's performance was heroic here. But take your hat off to this man, Lennox Lewis, because he is the future. We long to see him in the ring with Riddick Bowe. He perhaps still is not the finished article, but in even a tough fight, he finds the moment like that to get the job done. And that's what it's about in the end.
He answered a lot of questions, because that was a very tough fight. Frank was having a lot of success, and he showed, to me, he showed a lot of skill and a lot of courage, because he overcome some tough fighting.